Hi, and welcome to Tech Talk Y'all, Season 8, Episode 189. I'm Adam Walker.
And I'm Sanjay Parekh.
And as always, we have a ton of stories today, but we're going to fly through them. We're going to hit the high points. We're going to make it awesome. And listen, so much weird and wacky coming at you. It's just going to be amazing.
I have a feeling, though, that we're not going to fly through some of these. I think we're going to dwell on some of these, or at least I'm going to dwell on some.
We're going to hit the high points on some of these, and then we're going to go deep on other ones. That's going to be the goal for today.
By the way, I don't know if the listeners care about this, but we've been talking about the fact that we're in Season 8 for a while. When do we become Season 9? We're going to do that on Episode 200?
Yeah, we're going to do it on Episode 200. Yeah, we'll convert then to Season 9. We'll transform, like Optimus Prime. It'll be the Optimus Prime season.
It'll be the Optimus Prime season?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know Season 9 was Optimus Prime.
I mean,
what's Season 8?
I don't.
Is that like Wolverine or something? Like
it's the COVID run, I guess. I don't.
it's the monkey from Pandemic.
That
one. Yeah. So.
That's it.
Okay.
Let's dive in. All right. So I'm not even going to give the overview today. Let's just dive right on in. So, quote, Apple is eating our lunch. Google employees admit in lawsuit that the company made it nearly impossible for users to keep their location private. So we've talked about this before, how on Android phones, it's very difficult to turn off the location sharing settings in various apps and everything like that. Sanjay, how are you feeling about this one?
Yeah, we've been talking about this for a while, and it's good to know that they've admitted it, at least internally, that they are being jerks about this.
Yeah, that's right.
No, not okay. Not okay at all.
Yeah.
And, obviously I still use an Android phone, but
yep.
I'm not happy about the fact that it's so hard to block. It shouldn't be.
Yeah, it should be easy. Turn off. Done. Press a button. You're good to go. Should be simple. It is what it is. Speaking of things,
it really should be like one button that says like turn off all the things.
All done. Make it easy. There's no reason to make this hard. So speaking of making it hard, go ahead.
Listeners should know that you're still going to be able to be tracked just by the fact that you have a phone. It just might not be Google that's tracking you. It might be your phone company.
That's true. That's true.
So don't think that this is, and this is true for Apple phones as well. So don't think that this is a panacea that solving this then makes you all, Mr. Spy Guy, secret undercover agent dude.
Well, I mean,
it's not going to do that.
It goes back to that whole thing. Every time I'm watching a movie and somebody's on the run, but they take their phone with them. I'm like, what are you doing? Why would you do that? Get rid of that thing.
You got to check
note.
that.
Yeah, note to all listeners: if you're going to go on the run, just don't take your phone. So,
you got to not take your phone and don't take the credit cards because when you're on the lam, you got to do both of those. So, on the alternate things that Apple is doing, they are asking their staff to return to the office 3 days a week starting in early September. This is kind of ongoing from the last episode. We talked about how many employees are saying that they would give up $30,000 to continue working from home.
Yep.
But apparently Apple's going to have none of that. And so truth be told, I've been reading a bunch of articles about this stuff, and there is some legitimate thoughts around this. Like, I'm a big fan of company and organizational culture, and I really do think that that's one of the things that helps startups succeed, right? When you have a very strong organizational and company culture,
right,
that helps you weather when things go bad, and they will inevitably go bad, especially when you're a startup. It happens for big companies too, but it's more dire with startups. It's easier to build those great cultures when you have everybody in the same room for multiple hours of a day, multiple times a week, right? And so
maybe I would push back against that a little bit. I think it's connection. So it's not it's not physical connection. It's not physical proximity. It is just connection in general and the meaningful connections you make during those interactions. And so I think you can you can build really solid cultures virtually if you're thoughtful and innovative about it, right? But if you're not and you're just kind of a hermit, then it's different. I mean, I've seen that happen in all the virtual teams that I've led, actually, where I've built these really great teams, and not big ones, right? I've not built a huge company, so maybe I'm speaking ignorantly in that regard. But I've seen amazing culture emerge from only virtual. So I think you have to reshape that as a connection question rather than a face-to-face question, if that makes sense.
So I got to admit, I don't know that I've ever actually really built a fully virtual team. In the early days of my first startup, I had people that were remote, and that was before we kind of knew that remote was a thing.
Right.
So the thing that I struggle with is those little small day-to-day things that you miss out on, right? Like, I happen to be watching you right now on here. I'm seeing you drink coffee.
Yeah.
Like there's all those like little nuances of things that people do all throughout the day that you might not necessarily get to know and capture by doing things virtually. Whereas if you and I are sitting next to each other, like I'm going to get to know a lot of things about you all throughout the day. Like what kind of cookie is your favorite cookie? Or, you know, like just the random things that are really the essence of being human that really you don't think about sharing on a video call or anything else like that. And I think
I get that.
Drive this closer connection. And as somebody that leads an organization, it helps enforce that, hey, you are a part of this team, and it makes it harder for that person to leave the team. Like you don't want to leave your friends. It's really hard to leave your friends. But if it's just a bunch of people you work with, man, that's really easy to jump ship and go.
So one other suggestion, right, is, and we used to do this with my startup years and years and years ago, is have an open virtual line. I mean, like sit on, it's like not a meeting, not a Zoom meeting, but like have a dedicated monitor with like your people and like just talk and chat throughout the day and like, or do it for certain hours a day or something like that. Like, I think there's ways to build in those idiosyncrasies. Like, Adam, you're having a fourth coffee? Like, yes, I am. Thank you very much. You know, like you can build that in without necessarily having to be in the same physical space. So speaking of though, being in the physical space, the next article, employees are quitting instead of giving up working from home. So as companies are moving forward bullishly towards office time, there are actually a lot of employees that are like, yep, I'm not doing that. I'm good working from home. I'll go find something else. And they're opting out.
So I really do wonder if this is going to impact Apple, the previous story, making people come back to the office. Yeah. So I think the things that I just said, though, need to be tempered with kind of this new reality and what people expect. That, maybe you can drive a better company culture and be able to do it more easily with everybody in the same building at the same time. But that doesn't really help if they're all going to quit. So if
they all quit. It don't matter. All your culture's gone anyway. It's time to start over. So I mean, it's
you got to think about that. Yeah, exactly. Something that is going to be shared, apparently, even if you don't opt out. Well, unless you do opt out soon, is Amazon devices will start automatically sharing your internet with your neighbors. I am very concerned about this. So what it sounds like, at least initially, is just like those Echo Dots and those Amazon Alexa devices and things like that, that if your internet happens to go down, it will then grab onto the internet of your neighbors and use their bandwidth to keep functioning. Yeah,
that seems problematic on so many, like for example, every single month now I exceed my bandwidth usage and pay more money. So if like my neighbor like starts, milking bandwidth off of me, milking is probably not the right term, but siphoning bandwidth off of me, like I'm just going to pay more money. Like how is that? That's not a great idea. That doesn't work.
Right. And they position it like, hey, look, it's only 80 kilobits per second or something like that, maximum usage. But like that could add up to real money at some point for some people. But, and it's funny because I wasn't even thinking about the dollar side of it and the cost side of it, because I'm in the ignorant land of unlimited, no capped bandwidth over here. So I don't really.
Yeah, you are in the dream zone.
And I kind of love it. But what I was thinking about was how, a lot of enforcement activities are based off of IP address. And so if you start doing illegal things on the internet and it's using your neighbor's IP address, they're going to get the notice or they're going to get the knock.
That's bad news too. Yeah.
You.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Imagine all those Napster arrests happening now when this is happening. I mean, come on,
Exactly.
I wasn't streaming those songs. I don't even like that music.
Let's go to the clink.
I don't even like the banjo. Leave me alone. So anyway.
So I mean, right now they're talking about it's only Amazon devices, but it's only going to be minutes until somebody cracks the protocol.
Oh man.
And then it's like, oh, now you can use this for every device.
Everybody.
You have.
Everybody. Yeah, so, that's right. Yeah. Speaking of not great, Amazon refused to refund $7,000 after shipping an empty box instead of a Sony A1. So for those of you that don't know, a Sony A1 is a real super fancy SLR camera. Okay, so high end. And so apparently this couple bought one on Amazon. Gets it,
or what they thought was one.
Opens the box and it's just empty. And really, what this plays into is kind of like that fear. What do you do? How do you prove that you didn't just take it and like stash it behind your couch and go, oh, the box is empty? You know, so I don't know. But Amazon, I guess, thought they were being fraudulent and refused to refund their money. And then I didn't read to the end of the article. How did it end? I should have read that.
They have some proof on their side, right? So the camera itself weighs 3.2 pounds. The package that was shipped was only 2 pounds.
Oh,
obviously
come on.
Something was amiss. Right?
Come on, Amazon.
And I'm really surprised, actually, that this kind of error was not caught.
Yeah, for real.
At the warehouse, right? Because they're shipping all of these things. Somebody needs to get on the horn with software development at Amazon and be like, okay, you already know how much it weighs because that's on the site.
Yeah.
And then you know what you're shipping, and then you already know the things that you're shipping. If these things don't add up, then maybe you should pause on that box because something is amiss.
This data table entry should match or exceed this data table entry. Please proceed. Like, it's not that hard. Like, it's really not.
And the other issue that they could actually help themselves solve is when they accidentally put a product into a box that does not belong in that box, right?
Yeah.
They accidentally ship you something that you didn't order, and now you just got something for free.
Which does happen.
Money, right? It does definitely happen for sure. So talking about Amazon again, Amazon's going to stop testing most employees for weed. The one caveat there is any employee that's under the jurisdiction of the Department of Transportation, so people that are driving, are still going to have
hopefully also forklift lift operators. I'm thinking they probably shouldn't have, but I mean, I'm just saying,
maybe, yeah.
You don't want him going Michael Scott on that thing. That's all I'm trying to say. So
I don't think he was high during that episode. It wasn't.
No. I think in all fairness, Michael Scott always behaved as if he was high. Like, I think that's kind of like the lesson of the story, right? Is like
that's probably true.
Yeah.
That's probably true. And if you don't know what we're talking about, you need to watch the TV show The Office from beginning to end.
That's right. But I will say about this, I really feel like, this is. It's all going this direction, right? Amazon's just one of the first big companies to say, oh, we're not going to worry about that anymore. Everything's going this direction. So, okay. That's all I got to say about it.
And some of it is, it makes them more competitive in terms of getting employees. Right?
It does.
All of these companies are having a hard time finding employees. Even though our unemployment rate, numbers just came out actually, but our unemployment rate is still like 5.8%.
Right.
So there's still a lot of people that need work out there. But things like this make it more palatable for people to go and get these jobs.
Yeah.
And they've been, I see their ads all over the place where they talk about how the fact that they pay their employees $50 minimum. So I do like that. I know we've talked about things that Amazon has done wrong. Like we just did with the box, which they did end up refunding eventually. But, I think there are a lot of things that they do right as well. So good on them for that.
All right, so our next story, United Airlines will buy 15 ultra-fast airplanes from startup Boom Supersonic. So first of all, I read another article about Boom, and the article made the joke that you always want to buy a plane from a company that's named after the sound of a plane exploding. Like that's always a great thing. So
I think they're actually named after the sonic boom that is created when the plane goes.
I'm sure that's the intent, but that's not the vision that I get when I hear that name. So I feel like that brand is a little off. That's all I'm trying to say. So no, this is great. This is we had the Concorde. I think it was mothballed in the early 2000s. And now maybe we'll get back some supersonic air travel, 3.5 hours from New York to London sort of stuff. That's cool. I would try it out. I've never ridden on a supersonic jet. That sounds great.
I've never ridden on a supersonic either, but this is an early stage startup, a relatively early stage. It's been around since 2014, so 7 years. I feel like I have seen this startup around and raising money, and I'm clearly an idiot because I should have invested money in this startup because it sounds like things potentially might go really, really well.
They might go boom.
going to take that as the good kind of boom and not the bad kind of boom.